Otis.
My friend Jessica, she commented, I don't like air conditioning.
Bernie.
Down here in the South, I'll tell you something.
You don't like no damn air conditioning. You know where you can go.
You can take that up north. Well, I'd prefer to because it's cooler there and I don't have to worry about air conditioning.
You know who doesn't need air conditioning? Minnesota.
Yeah, right. Yankees.
I think it needs to be said she lives in Texas. So that's where
air conditioning in Texas?
I said that to her. I said, don't you live in Texas? She said, yeah, I'm always cold.
What?
It sounds like there's some.
I'm always cold. Did you have COVID? Is that what's wrong? I can't smell or taste things. Yes, you definitely have COVID.
This is Weird with Otis and Bernie.
Welcome in, episode 39. This is weird. We keep it real weird, and we may get our friend that we invited on tonight fired by the end of the evening because he's he's a serious news guy, and he doesn't do the jokey jokes.
Look,
you can't
here's
do that
the thing. Our friend Chris is here, and we refer to him as Opie. And I think that we are the only people that refer to him as Opie because we know him from a time when we called him Opie. Now, he has the decision now. Chris Suter has the decision whether he wants to be called Opie or Chris from here on out.
Listen, hearing you say Chris Suter, it doesn't seem
weird.
He's wrong.
Right?
Opie was our intern. Opie was our intern at one point in time.
Way back.
And
today's worst music?
Best music. U93. Featuring...
Wow, we called it out. Okay.
Yeah. So Opie's here. Chris Suter's here. Chris works for he does television news now. I think everybody that's been here has done radio, and we can consider ourselves not serious. Chris is a serious newsman. He's a serious newsman looking in the camera and doing serious news.
It's a good thing that there are no air checks still around from when I used to do on-air shifts with the two of you in particular.
You are good at radio. I will say this: you are good at radio.
Man, I met you guys when I was first getting started too, so that's a compliment to say the least, because it was a little rough there for a minute.
Dude, I was so drunk back then, like all the time. I barely remember half of it. So
2 weeks ago, it was 2 weeks ago.
That was back in my first night show radio job. I had every club gig.
Otis and I met each other at this radio station. I made a lot of life connections. I met my wife at this radio station.
Yes.
I met Otis at this radio station. I met Opie. Yeah. A lot of people that I still consider dear and Opie. And
I met Frosted Tips.
Todd Chance.
I met Todd Bear.
I met Frosted Tips at this radio station.
You did have Frosted Tips.
I had puka shells on at this radio station.
Time in your life where you played Kevin Little and
J-Lo
had Frosted Tips, and J-Lo had Frosted Tips. It was a very exciting time in our life.
If You Had My Love, I think, was that a big hit back then?
That was a big hit back then. Yeah.
Switch by Will Smith. Remember
that
one?
Was a big record. Switch was a big record.
Well, welcome in, Chris. We're so excited to have you. We've talked about having you on for quite some time, so we won't get you fired. I'm kidding. We might try.
There it is.
You had it queued up. Why is that in your iPod?
Come on.
Nah, he over here.
Switch.
I heard he gonna get
awful song.
It's called.
This is in your Pandora playlist.
It's on my It's in my top 100.
Okay.
We just talked about apparently you were telling me before we turned the thing on. Apparently were we at a bar where Will Smith showed up?
Listen, there was a club in South Bend that Jada Smith, she had a band for a while. I don't know if they're still playing. Probably not. She had a band, and they played, it was like metal music. It was heavy. It was kind of heavy. And so she was playing the club. I'm like, well, we'll go see Jada Smith. I think I was hosting, actually.
Why not? Why don't we go see Jada Smith's band?
So when you're hosting and whatever, the DJ, you stand in the DJ booth for the events, and that's what I was doing. And I looked to my right out of nowhere, and Will Smith is standing next to me. I thought you were there. I could have swore you were there.
I would remember meeting Will Smith.
I think you would. Were you? Yeah.
The only person I remember meeting, Otis and I have pictures of a time. We could put it on social media. I'm afraid to. We have pictures of us. Are we not going to mention that? We're going to put, look, one night Otis called me at home and said, "You've got to come down here. Jared from Subway is here." Now, this was at a point in time where Jared was still a thing and definitely not a pedophile. Like, it was a time when America loved Jared from Subway.
Let me say this. I had some drinks with the guy. I talked to him for a little bit. And then,
are you going to vouch for the guy?
No,
He's
I'm
okay.
not. But I didn't get those vibes is what I'm saying. You know, he wasn't like looking at all the like young girls in the club or anything like that. He was just real chill and it seemed normal. I was completely wrong, obviously, in my judgment of who he was.
So we have a picture somewhere with
That should
Jared
not
from
resurface.
Subway. That is not a thing that we should pull back up. So anyway,
Feels weird. It feels weird, like knowing that person. You're like,
It feels weird, right?
My radar was way off. I thought he was cool. Nope.
It's if you called me one day and was like, "Hey, Joe Paterno's hanging out down here." Like, it's like, oh, you got to. He's a legendary coach. Jerry Sandusky's down here. It's exciting.
Urban Meyer just showed up. He's all over this chick.
Showed up.
Bring it to today.
Oh, all right. Anyway, so there's a thing that happened. There's a picture that may or may not resurface.
We digressed hard on that one, but welcome in, Opie, and thank you for being on tonight.
Opie's in. And you do television news. What is the station in Louisville? It is News Action News. What's the number? I don't know.
Channel 41.
Action News 41, where coverage is on your side. And
Coverage you can count on.
Hold on, pause.
We're
Opie,
the source.
please tell me you've done this. I'm going to do it on camera. You've done this intro.
It's a great
The chair turn and smile.
I don't think he's on
with it. They did away
No,
with
that's
the whole reopen thing.
It's not a
promos
90s
are the
sitcom.
best.
He's not on Family Matters. He does television news.
The news promos always they get me excited. I'm like,
So
wow.
the coverage is it's on your side. You're on your side, and so you do that. And I was telling you before we started, I love you dearly. You're a friend. I can't picture you doing television news. I don't live in the place where you do news, but I look at you and I'm like, that's not a person. Like, he's younger than I am, and I know him.
And he's funny.
Walk of life. He's very funny, and he knows how to do a joke and doesn't take himself seriously. How does he do news?
Now that I've got children, I've got gray hair and bags under my eyes, and then you put the old makeup on, you look a little older.
That's it.
But yeah, I do try to joke around, and sometimes it doesn't go over very well.
It doesn't go. It doesn't right.
People. Yeah,
TV people and radio people are, true or false, very different people.
Very different people. True.
Very
Here's an
different people.
example. I was doing a story about Fat Bear Week last week. It's a thing in Alaska.
That's a thing that's coming up later. We have that later. Yeah.
Yeah. So I say to my co-anchor, "Oh, well, I chose this bear because it's got a little more junk in the trunk than the rest." Very PG, a very PG joke. And everyone's like, "Oh, I don't."
You get the serious eyes. Yeah.
I will say this to you. We used to, when I was on a morning show in Dallas, Texas, and we used to do stuff with the morning television news show.
Yes.
And I was told at the time, "Hey, you guys, the radio people, the radio side, you guys get to do and say the things that our anchors cannot say." Okay, so you have more leash than everybody else. So you guys get to say it, and they get to react. That was what I was told, right? That's what it was explained to me.
Uh-oh.
And so you would say, like, we would make it our point to hang the TV people out to dry every day. Like, it was a thing where, like, who can say the thing that teeters the line that is the most PG that will make them blush the most? And one morning we were talking, and I think Bon Jovi or Def Leppard was coming to town, and I look at the female anchor that we're speaking with that morning, and I look at her and I say something to the effect of, "Hey, Bon Jovi's coming to town. You look like you've had a lot of fun getting drunk at a Bon Jovi concert. What do you think?" Oh, no.
Back to you, Sarah.
No, back to you. We're going back to the booth. Like, they hated us. They hated the segment. We loved when we sunk it. It was sport for us to sink the segment.
Oh,
It's
dude,
gonna
I
feel
did.
good to be that guy, you know?
Oh, it's amazing. I did in Charlotte. I did Fox Charlotte for a bit, and they brought me in specifically to do pop culture stuff and be the guy that said things that they couldn't. It was a morning
say,
show.
right?
It was a little looser. It wasn't like 5:00 news and here's
Right.
what happened: 3 shootings in Atlanta again. That kind of thing. But this was like be jokey, have some fun with some pop culture. Well, Ariana Grande was licking things back then. And I came up with the top 5 list of other things Ariana Grande has probably licked. And I said that, and the news anchor next to me goes,
Oh, yeah.
I can see it in her
that is
face.
not flying. That's not flying.
She's like, "Oh shit, dump, hit the dump. Somebody hit the dump." Like, he hasn't even got to the joke yet.
Once upon a
Get invited
time.
back after?
Yes, they enjoyed the
Oh,
bit.
that's shocking.
It was
I
fine.
kept it PC. I didn't go where you think I would go with it. I wanted to, but I did not.
Once upon a time in Dallas, there was a billboard for a shop that sold, we'll call it fun items for men and women.
Yep.
And if I'm not mistaken, and I don't remember this too closely, I recall the billboard having I want to say cucumber on it, and they had put like googly eyes in the cucumber as if the cucumber was going, "Woo, oh." like the cucumber had eyes on it as if it was very surprised about where it was. And they had done the story, if I'm not mistaken, the night prior to the community being upset about this billboard, the night on the 11 o'clock news the night before. And we brought it up at 6 a.m. And apparently the difference between them talking about it at 11 p.m. and 6 a.m. was very different. Apparently they did not like talking about it at 6 a.m., but 11 p.m. when they brought it up. And when we were contacted, they said, "What are you doing? How could you possibly bring this up?" And I'm like, "You guys talked about it 7 hours ago." Like,
Different
so it was
crowd,
very-
right?
right.
Kids
It's a
are up.
different bunch of people. Different
Sure.
bunch of people. TV people and radio people are entirely different. So.
But I do love, Opie, that you step out of the box a little bit. And I know this because I lived in Louisville, Kentucky for quite a while, and I saw you on the news. I watched you on the news. And then, yes, Bernie, I'll go back to what you said.
It's very uncomfortable.
Like, I
Very
didn't believe
uncomfortable.
anything you
It's hard
said.
to
But I
watch.
was like, this guy's awesome. He's my buddy. Look at him.
to
And I
watch.
was actually I was on with you talking Grammy
That's
stuff.
right. Yeah, a couple times, I think, weren't you?
Yeah,
Maybe
yes,
once.
sir.
I don't remember.
Yes, sir. But the fact that you are in a, like, what is it, 5-6 year feud with William Shatner,
Yeah.
We should start here.
eats
William Shatner's
everything-
going to space. We should
Yeah.
start there. William Shatner is going. He's a 90-year-old man. He's going to be the oldest man to ever go to space. He's going to go aboard. Is it Jeff Bezos' ship?
Bezos.
Right.
Yep.
Bezos' ship. He's going to go to space. Captain Kirk is going, and so that's why I was like, William Shatner, our man Opie. He's been in a feud for a long
Look,
time.
I jump into rabbit holes when I see people in like feuds with like D-list celebrities. That's my favorite thing. We had Chris Cruz on before, and he has been in a long feud with Scott Stapp from Creed.
Creed, sure.
It's amazing. The whole thing is like a rabbit hole of goodness. And so this William Shatner thing has eaten my life up this week because if 5-6 years ago did it start, and now it's back because of this whole space thing. Your feud has lighted back up, and I love this. Go ahead. You tell us about your feud.
Tell the story. I want to hear the story.
Well, it was 2016, right? And we discussed this kind of a little bit. But anytime there's kind of a weird story to do, everyone's like, "Oh yeah, let's have Suter do it. Well, he's the guy to do it." You know,
Because you're funny and you can do it. Like you're the guy that has a little bit of levity and can pull it off well.
yes. Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, that's kind of their mentality anyway, the management. And so the whole thing was William Shatner was in town. There's this world championship horse show. He's super into
He's into horses.
that sort of thing. Yes.
Yes.
And so, he was on Bardstown Road, which Otis, I know you know, and Bernie, I'm sure you know this too, but it's kind of a bar district in Louisville. And there's also a lot of restaurants and shops and that sort of thing.
If you know anything
So
about
anyway,
Kentucky, horses are their thing.
That's right.
Of course.
The number one thing on the list. So anyway, Shatner's in this salon getting a mani and a pedi. He's fancy. He's getting his nails did.
Captain Kirk just getting the nails did.
Yeah,
All right.
Shatner, man. He's Shatner. What are you going to do?
Right. So the people who are working there and the people who are getting their hair done there think that it's, kind of a cool thing. They snap these pictures of him getting a pedicure. They send him to the station. So I go over there. I talk to these women, whatever. Long story short, he ends up getting tagged on Twitter by one of my coworkers. I didn't even tag him because I thought they don't ever look at their Twitter pages. They're not going to pay attention to this.
Well, if there's anything we know about 70-year-old men, it's they love Twitter or Facebook. So
Like,
When
what?
they're not on TikTok, they're on Twitter.
go ahead.
So he's on Twitter all the time. I've found out in the years since. So when he sees the story, he's super upset. It's an invasion of privacy. I can't believe a news organization would do this, blah, blah, blah. So he calls me I think it was a paparazzi scumbag, and then he blocked me.
Sure. Sure.
Before I even have a chance to screenshot the fact that he has called me a scumbag.
Oh, it's gone?
Unblocked, and it's gone. Yeah.
Oh,
So,
dude, was that when you started your news career? Were you like, someday a celebrity is going to call me a paparazzi scumbag? I'm like, was that a bucket list check mark? Because I feel like I would have that check mark.
well, if I learned anything from you two and from U93, it was that it's fun to poke the bear a little bit.
Yes.
Sure. Well, yeah. It's like, did you know that you were going to be in an argument with one of the 1970s greatest actors?
Space.
The
final frontier.
Star of one of the most beloved shows of all time.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't even born when that show was out. So to me, he was.
I used to
always
watch
the
it with my dad a lot.
Yeah. Or the Priceline negotiator guy. That's how I knew who William
Oh,
Shatner was.
is really that was your Shatner? You're like, oh, that's the Priceline guy.
For a
Right.
small period in the 80s, TJ Hooker. Continue.
Sure.
I knew him
anyway.
from Star Trek. My dad always watched Star Trek, so that's where I knew Shatner. Captain Kirk has always been Shatner. And might I bring up Rescue 911?
Rescue 911. I forgot about Rescue 911. That's
right.
a thing. Yes.
Yes.
So I found all of this out afterward. After he tagged me and all of his people, his fans who have been fans for years and years, started just destroying
Team
me.
Shatner. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, they know how many security cameras he has in his driveway. That kind of fan.
Right.
Right. Yeah. So anyway, so this happens in 2016, right? I mean, this has been years ago, and it kind of it happened, whatever. But there's this guy in the newsroom. He is one of those trekkers, whatever you want to call him.
Oh, he hates you. Go ahead.
Well,
He's very upset.
surprisingly, he thinks that it's great, and he keeps tagging William Shatner every time.
Oh, yes. Okay, he's playing along. I love it. I love it.
Great. That's fantastic.
He's always like, "Hey, are you going to unblock him? It's time to unblock him, isn't it?" Anyway, it just keeps happening.
Did you do a story recently where he's going to space and you were talking about the incident? Is kind of what I read. Like you got news about doing news. There was like a news story about you doing news.
You became the news.
Yeah, there's this magazine here in town that ran a story, and the headline was like, "William Shatner is still mad at WDRB news anchor Chris Suter 5 years later." There is one more part of the story too. He told that guy in the newsroom I was telling you about that he would unblock me if I raised some money for this charity of his.
And you're like, game on.
Yeah,
Sure.
good charity.
Why not?
I'm still kind of poking the bear. I'm still enjoying this. Why not? And so I raised the money. He said, if he's got 10 friends and can raise $500, then, I'll unblock him. I'm like, all right, Gramps, sure.
I love that Shatner's even engaging in this, but he's like, I'll get
is it
charity money.
possible that Shatner's playing the game?
Right.
Like, is it possible?
I don't know. See, sometimes I think he is. Like then I thought he was, but then the other day it got brought up again when he was going to space, and then he's all mad again. How it's an invasion of privacy. So
Yeah.
all over the place. Like his blood pressure? Just kidding.
It's a 90-year-old man. You have to be kind of careful. It's a 90-year-old man.
Is he 90?
He's
Yeah,
90.
he's
Oh,
yeah,
I said
he's 90.
70
He's gonna be
earlier.
the
I thought he
old-
was
he's
in
going to be the oldest person to ever go to space, 90 years old.
Oh God, dang!
So
he's
you
old.
can't do too much because you don't want to be the person responsible for killing America's most beloved space person.
It's terrible.
Well, the thing is, too, I kind of find him amusing. Like, I
Of
think
course,
funny.
he's a
He-
very interesting person.
right.
Oh, Shatner's great. But here's the thing: so you actually raised $520 for this charity,
Yes.
correct? And
Right.
and you're like, Shatner, we did it.
Time to
Unblock him,
unblock.
bro.
Yeah.
Right.
And he is so petty. I don't have the tweet up, but he started doing math on the fees that they charge for at a GoFundMe, right?
Oh, come
Uh,
on.
the fees that they charge brought it below $500, and it was only $499.20 or so. He did all the math.
Right.
my
He's
God.
like, it's not even $500. Fail. It was $499.20. Dick.
His math ended up being wrong, too, by the way. So it was above $500, and he still did not care.
All right,
tell an
let's plug the
85-year-old
GoFundMe. We need to get it to 1,000. What is it?
Yeah,
What's the
I want
GoFundMe?
to do that.
Something? You know what? I don't know what the GoFundMe is. It's been a minute. Let me look
All
it
right,
up.
we'll share it. We'll share the GoFundMe.
Mock an
look for it on our
85-year-old
socials.
man's ability to do math.
at This Weird Pod. Look for us on Twitter. I'll share it at This
Okay.
Weird Pod.
All right.
We're gonna share the GoFundMe. Go donate like $5. That like $1. Donate $1 if you can, and you're listening. Like $5, $20, whatever. Let's
Yeah.
get it to 1,000 because I want Shatner to unblock you. This has to
It's
happen.
not going to happen. Even if we get it there, it's not going to happen. He's not going to block an Opie.
Dude, so I have a connection to Shatner, Ope.
Do you?
When I lived in Morton, Illinois growing up, my neighbor used to trade horses with Shatner. He would show up at his house occasionally. We were friends with the guy's sons that went to our high school until the one kid started hooking up with my girlfriend. But that's a whole nother story.
It's a different story. We're doing a different story. It's a different day.
But Shatner used to show up at their house. They lived we lived out in the country, so it wasn't like blocks. It was like probably like 2 miles down the road from us. And I saw him one time. I never met Shat, but he showed up and was trading horses in Morton, Illinois. I think stopped at the Walmart or whatever
Yeah.
one time.
People had stories about it. Was he nice to them?
The kids that I knew, they said like he was a good guy and just loved horses and that they just traded horses. I didn't know much about his person, but they didn't say anything bad about him.
I want
I'm not either, just for the record. I think he's, whatever.
more than anything in the world. I want you and William Shatner to make up. Like I do. This is a thing that I want to happen.
Here's where I go with this because Jake Paul is doing so well with this in his life. You and Shatner in a ring, call him
stop.
out.
We're not
Call
doing
him
that.
out. You could do a pay-per-view event.
No, he's a.
You
90.
take on Shatner in the ring before his space trip.
Seems to
I
Glove
thought about
to
an
glove.
arm wrestling match,
both of these are terrible ideas. We respect the man for his
He's 90.
contribution to pop
Pinochle.
culture.
You could do a
No, we're
pinochle
not doing
tournament.
That seems terrible.
Shuffleboard. I'm sure he plays shuffleboard.
He's
Does he not?
contributed enough.
Spades.
It doesn't-
Does he
it
play
doesn't
spades
matter.
with the people at the
We're not
nursing
doing
home?
That seems terrible.
No.
You're not.
I
you're
think
being disrespectful
we
of
need
the
a
Shatner.
pay-per-view event. Captain Kirk versus Opie. And we're not using their real names. That's gonna be the headline. Captain Kirk versus Opie.
It's probably a copyright violation, but whatever. I mean, I don't think we should do that. He's a 90-year-old man. He's going to space. I don't think we need to make his waning years trouble. I think we need to
Listen,
be as nice as we can to Mr. Shatner.
Shatner is amazing. I want to say that out loud because when he listens to this and hates us, he blocks us all three.
I don't want to be blocked by William Shatner. He's got
He's
goddamn
going-
American treasure.
He is a legend, a treasure. He's going on the Bezos Blue Origin space flight. He says he is terrified. Captain Kirk does not want to go on this flight.
I don't know if you know this, but every other time, Otis, he's gone to space in his life, it's been on a set.
What? What?
No connection to
The
actual
final
space.
frontier.
The final frontier was in Burbank. Like it was not a real place. So anybody that thinks that William Shatner is qualified to go to space any more than say, I don't know, Opie or anybody else, it just is not a thing.
Well, here's the thing.
It's kind of funny. He was on the Today Show the day after he trashed me the most recent time, And the entire time he was on there, he was talking about what happens if I have to go to the bathroom. And they're like, it's a 10-minute trip, Mr. Shatner. And he's like, exactly.
Right.
He's 90. It
When
might
you're 90,
happen.
though, you got to go to the bathroom a lot. Like, you got to really, these are things you got to worry about. You got to portion off the hour.
So I like Shatner when I read the quote because it sounds like me and you, Bernie, because this would happen.
All right.
He says, my friend Jason Erklich came to me about a year and a half ago, and he said he was seeing these rockets, the people were going to space, pedestrians. Wouldn't it be something if Captain Kirk went up there? I would totally say that to you if you were my buddy. And I'm like, you were on the Starship Enterprise, Burn.
Right. I bet you there.
I'll bet
there's a
you
part
can't
of
go to
Shatner
space on
that-
one of the...
Yeah, I'll bet you there's. I mean, and Leonard Nimoy is not with us anymore, but I would bet that there would be a point where Captain Kirk and Mr. Spock should go up to space. Should go up to space. Like,
And that's so he responded to his friend in this quote. He's saying, Jason, for God's sake, man, nobody cares that Captain Kirk goes to space. It was 55 years ago, man.
right, there was.
But I'm doing well. Maybe I should go up to space.
It's just,
And now here he is. He's
do
going.
think- I do think, by the way, that Jeff Bezos getting a little. I think we're a little soon to drop the casual space flight. Like, it's been 3 flights. Like, it's
Right.
just like 3
Okay.
flights. We're like, we should send Elton John goes next. we're just flinging people into the space.
Right,
Maybe
let's
we should
start-
do a couple more test flights.
Let's start with like some people that we don't care about. Like you said earlier, Captain Kirk is a goddamn legend.
He's a
He is
goddamn
an
American treasure. I don't know that we need to do that. Hey, Mark Hamill next. We're doing Mark Hamill. Like we're just flinging space people into space. Maybe we should do some people that are in shape, some qualified people. Maybe like the professionals on Dancing with the Stars. They seem like they're in good shape.
Right.
Maybe we try them first.
No, I see listen, Kim Kardashian goes up there, doesn't come back. Does anybody care?
We're gonna
Let's start with the reality star celebrities
Right,
before we go
yes.
with Captain Kirk.
every Real Housewife. We put them on. We try them first. Like, we just try Real Housewives. We just fling Real Housewives in fucking space.
Some of the Big Brothers
we
cast.
just go right. We start there.
good season
Then we
this year.
start sending the people we like.
Let's use the method that Dancing with the Stars uses to find their cast, and it's like the people that haven't worked in a little while, and maybe
Right.
we don't care about Ian Ziering. You
One
know,
of the two Paul brothers. Like, whichever Paul brother is.
yes. Oh God, they'll
Whichever
go.
Paul brother is not fighting in the MMA that weekend, we fling that guy to space. We start there.
JoJo
do that.
Siwa. Start.
JoJo.
I'm not saying that she's not a special person in doing her thing. What I'm saying is
Look,
expendable. Like she's
It's
an
time.
expendable
Like, it's
celebrity.
just time. I mean, it's time we got to do that.
You can't send Tom Hanks. Like we need
No,
him.
we don't send the beloved up there. Morgan Freeman. We can't do Morgan Freeman yet.
Blippy. You know? Let's start lower. Shatner, I'm not
Blippy.
down for this. Can we pull out now, Shatner, if you're listening? I'm not good with losing Captain Kirk if we have.
No, I don't want to lose Captain Kirk.
We already lost Picard. We lost Picard.
No, Picard's not dead. Picard is not dead. He is in his show right
he's
now.
not?
Picard is very much alive. You just killed Picard.
I thought he passed away like 4
He
years
is-
ago. No.
He is not dead and currently doing a Star Trek show for CBS.
My bad.
Picard is
My
not
bad.
dead once again. So there you go. We're gonna send
He's part of the
people to-
Marvel universe too. I'm such a dick.
Yeah,
Damn it.
there you killed him. You killed Picard, and there's no need. Now, I would send Picard before I would send Captain Kirk.
Blasphemy. Blasphemy.
Best part of this
No.
podcast, the mention of Blippy.
I think so. I mean, I think it's the winner of the podcast. I think it's the winner of the podcast. I would send Andy Cohen. Andy Cohen,
Yeah.
could go.
Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel. I could
Jimmy
go
Kimmel.
with
I
that.
mean, Jimmy Kimmel's third in late night, so I think we're okay with Jimmy Kimmel. Go on to the top of the
Who else's
atmosphere.
name can we throw out that's going to be pissed off and block us on this podcast?
One, like, I would send the bass player from Lifehouse, like the bass player from Lifehouse. I don't want
Life-
to send the lead singer.
That took me a second. I was like, Lifehouse. Oh, yeah.
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
died on the vine unless somebody had left.
Calling All Angels, wasn't that their song?
Train. I would send
Oh, that's
one of the
Train.
members
That was
of Train.
What was called?
You
what was
and me and all the
Lifehouse's
people.
song?
I would send Jason Mraz.
All right, Opie, we're gonna try to end this Shatner feud, and you need to get Shatner on. He's gonna come back to Louisville. He loves horses.
You know, he's going to be at the Indianapolis Comic Con in a few weeks.
Oh,
And
my God,
The
are
idea
you
has
going?
been floated to send me
You
up
need to
there,
be
but I
there.
don't wanna
Oh my
get
God,
beat
you
up.
must go.
You must be there, and
you
we need
must
this
be
film.
there. Yes.
There's going to be video of me getting tased for getting close to him.
And that will be phenomenal. If that's the worst that happens, everyone will love it.
I'll do you.
It'll
one
be
better.
great for Shatner's career and yours.
Sure.
Everybody.
Shatner, like you, I can see you showing up at the Comic Con with Shatner, but I want you to have a giant check. Like I want you to have a giant check made out to his charity under your arm, so that if he kicks you out, like it's going to be awkward because you got a giant check.
Yeah,
You're
I'm just trying
paying
to
his
do good
charity.
stuff.
Right, you're just trying to do good by his thing. Like, well, don't kick me out. I've got a giant check.
Dude,
for
we're
you.
great with ideas on this show. So this
is
has to
fantastic.
happen. Giant check. He can't kick you out. He's going to look like a dick if he does.
Right, he's going to look like a
You
dick if he kicks you
win.
out. He gets a giant check.
Oh, we've got it. Hey,
That's it.
you don't have to pay us anything. Throw that to your producers. That's happening.
Oh, that's it. We're nothing. We are idea men. We are idea men.
I just got that text today from a producer saying, "Hey, this seems like a good idea."
You take a giant check up there, made out to $1,000 to his charity, and that's a slam dunk.
You know what I should do? I should write it for the amount I've already raised.
That's
It's like,
it.
hey, this already happened.
This
friend.
already happened. This has been sitting on my dresser for 6 years.
And then take just like after you give him the big check, take like that jar that everybody has that's got all the change in it and just dump it on his lap.
No,
Just
no.
turn
no,
it
no.
over.
Don't listen to Otis. Don't listen. You want to be respectful of Captain Kirk and the legacy that Captain Kirk brings. He's a 90-year-old man. Don't jump change on him. Jesus
Beam me
Christ.
up.
What are you doing? You're not making a fucking TikTok. Like you're just like you're not
That will,
making
million views on TikTok. if
be
you do that.
disrespectful of Captain Kirk. He's Captain Kirk, for God's
And then
sake.
tap your chest piece and disappear.
Epic.
God, oh my God, stop listening to Otis. Otis is no.
If you beamed yourself up at the moment, it would be sick.
Wouldn't it?
I don't know how it happens,
It's not
but
something
you guys
that
do
happened.
your video thing. It could happen. Somebody in your room, in your producer room, knows how to beam you up.
Yes.
out of
That's not.
the video. The Star Trek guy, I guarantee you, knows how to beam you up. out of the
Guy, he's
video.
got it as a default. He's got it as a preset. on the
He has it
video
on a
editor.
preset to the left. He's never used, and he's waiting for the moment. All right.
Finally,
have
we can
created
beam
this
somebody
entire
up on the
thing.
news.
He's back there in the control room, like, yes, yes,
Best day ever.
You guys don't know him, but it sure seems like you know him.
Oh, I love it. And he's an awesome guy for it. Those kind of people are my favorite people because they're so passionate about something. Because there's a lot of people in this world that are not passionate about anything. When you just go all in and you don't care, you can nerd out for something. I'm your friend. I think that's the coolest thing.
You just
There's
want to
one
look at
more
people.
story I could tell you about this guy. By the way, we did a story in a cavern. It's like a new
You're gonna get
cavern.
fired if you keep talking about this.
Just keep telling. No, I'm good. Just keep telling the
It's
story.
great. He wore khakis to this cave excursion. First of all, that's one thing. Second of all, he gets stuck in a hole. You have to like pull him out.
You're gonna get fired.
Well, you know.
You're gonna get fired. You're like Gossip Girl. You're like the person
How did
that's on.
how did he get
You're
stuck in a
telling
hole?
stories.
Was he like? Did he have the camera and he like backed into it, or how did the? I want to know.
He was just there to write a web story. He wasn't even doing the camera work. And
So
somehow
he's writing and he walked into a hole.
I look over and I'm like, is he stuck? Like, what's going
Where
on?
did Gary go? Oh, what is Gary? What are you doing?
Gary, good Christ Almighty, Gary.
We can't
Get
take
out
you
of
anywhere.
there.
We're in
Come
a
on.
cavern. Watch out for holes, bro. So this is a
Not
cave.
enough that you believe in this gobbledygook on television.
at least wear jeans too to a
Oh,
cave?
gee, yeah, right. Well, you do.
Khakis? I don't
Feels
know.
like you do.
What's
I
the
would
proper
wear-
cave attire?
It's
I
not-
wore a
it's not
loincloth the
khakis,
last
I know
time.
that.
Mine was
It's
a
not
loincloth.
chinos. You don't wear chinos to a game.
I assume you being a father, you would have had cargo shorts and New Balance
multiple
on.
pockets. Multiple
Fanny
pockets.
pack.
That's what you got to do.
The fanny pack is back, though, I've heard.
You got go. You,
It
you,
is.
you wear the cargo shorts. You got some Go-Gurt in there, and
Fruit snacks.
a couple of wet
Ruse.
wipes. Yeah.
Listen. The fanny pack is back, and every time I see it, I think to myself, "That looks stupid. It looks so
it's
stupid
wrong.
on you.
I
It's
noticed
not
that they're-
cool."
They're wearing it like across the chest now.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
makes
That's the
it
manly
better.
way to wear it.
Yeah.
Stupid.
The mullet's
It looks
also
stupid.
backing up.
I sound like an
Yeah.
old man. I sound like Bernie. I like old as Bernie right
Look,
now.
I would wear
looks
a fanny pack
stupid.
across my chest. I would wear
Here's
a fanny
the,
pack.
here's the thing. The fanny pack looked stupid when we did it when we were young. It
Maybe I
still
don't.
looks
Maybe
stupid.
I never stopped. Maybe that's the move.
Oh, Bernie will go high white socks, New Balance, and cargos anytime, any day. If
Here's the
they're going to
key.
the zoo, he's that dad. He'll
the
wear
key,
a shirt
man.
that says dad just to
Yeah.
remind you. In case the New Balance and the cargos didn't say it enough, his shirt will say dad.
Here's the key to that: not giving an F. Like that's the key to that. Is you just pop some zinc oxide on the bridge of your nose. And you wear a shirt that says "Dad," and you slap a fanny pack, and you're
White-
like, "You can make fun of me if you like, but I'm
White
the most
sunscreen
functional
under your
here."
eyes, like you play for the Seattle Seahawks.
Yeah, I'm the most functional here, and I get the most stuff. And you're gonna need a wet wipe. Who are you gonna come to talk to when you need a wet wipe? This guy right here. Why? Because I got a goddamn bag sling across my shoulders. That's why you're gonna talk to me.
The storage. I mean, you don't need a diaper bag.
Storage.
You know?
Yes, storage is why I'm doing it.
Yeah, swag.
Sure.
That's why I'm doing it.
Practicality. That's what I'm about.
That's a word that we're all going to learn today. Practicality. And who's the most practical here? This guy right here.
This guy in the plaid with the cargos on right now.
Exactly.
You have cargos on, don't you? Stand up.
I do.
Yes! Knew it!
I do have cargo.
This is weird.
You're married. You're a married guy. So you and I and the three of us, we haven't had to experience dating with apps at all. The prospect terrifies me. Dating with
yeah,
apps.
forget that, man. Ugh.
There's
No.
a woman who has gone viral. Her name is Brooke, and she has gone viral because she says she is a serial dater. She's been on many first dates. I think we're going to all learn why she's been on many first dates. It's because she says she has a lot of experience on first dates because she has a long list of qualifications that you have to meet if you go on a first date with Brooke. Her qualifications.
Been seeing a lot of these like rules for blank. I'm gonna do rules for a first date. I feel like I'm a seasoned pro at first dates and I have the routine down. So
Oh, no.
first up,
I'm
gonna
already
wear
over
heels
her.
to see if you're lying about your
You're
height
out?
because everybody
You're out because she's snapping.
Oh, the voice and the I already know because I've been on a lot of first dates. Okay, that tells me a lot about you. The snapping and the head thing, and then you saying, "I've been on a lot of first dates."
She
Means
does
that
have
there's-
She does have an
You have a
eye rolly
problem.
way of going through life, and I don't really
Yeah.
care for it at all.
I'm gonna wear heels to see if you're lying about your height because everybody on every dating app, every man I should say, I feel like adds a few inches, which is fine, but I am 5'7".
Pause.
So it's just embarrassing.
adds a few inches to his height, or
Or right. No, I think it's both ways.
every man adds a few inches. Yes, we do. Like if we say 7, it's probably about 5.5.
My friend, yeah.
I think if we show up and I'm wearing a heel and we're like a 2-inch heel and we're the same height, like you're lying about something somewhere. So yeah, just be honest.
Hold on.
Number 2,
Aren't you lying about your height with your 2-inch heels? Shut the fuck up. Like I'm pissed. I'm so pissed already at this
All
chick.
right. All right. We're not very far into this. I feel like you're going to get madder. Like I feel like you're going to get more upset with Brooke.
I am
Arrive, like,
angry with her.
3 to 5 minutes late. I usually try to time it exactly because I
Oh,
want you to already be
stop.
sitting down, have the table.
You're gonna purposely show up late. I'm gonna
She shows up
purposely
3
not
to 5
fucking
minutes
be
late.
there.
She wants you to have the table ready, is what she's trying to say.
Because I want you to already be sitting down, have the table, or like tell me exactly where I'm meeting you. Because I find it awkward when the guy is late. I would rather like me be just a few minutes, not like crazy, but just so that they are there first. Okay,
It's not
this one's very
awkward for
important.
us. Like the minute you're like 5-10 minutes late, you're like, she says 3 to 5 minutes. I guarantee you it's 20.
That's at
and
least
you're
15.
like 10 minutes in, you're like, is this chick showing up?
Yeah.
15, you're like, she's not showing up.
She rolls
I might as well
in.
get
She's-
it. Give me another shot of tequila, and I'm gonna find some chick that's dancing out here already at
Yeah,
4
right.
o'clock.
I think so. She's got a lot of rules.
But just so that they are there first. Okay, this one's very important. Don't pretend like you haven't looked me up before. I keep my profiles like pretty ambiguous. So if it's like, oh, podcast host, like social media, like you're gonna look me up, and that's so fine. But to sit there and be like, oh, like I didn't look you up, like just say it. Like it's so obvious sometimes.
Yeah, here's the thing. I'm a podcast host, and I don't like this person. Now, and I'm
wanna know
saying
what her
that as a
podcast
person that hosts a podcast.
Why didn't she plug her podcast in that statement? Is how I'm.
Oh, it's on the
confused by it.
Instagram. Somewhere it's
Yeah,
on the
okay.
Instagram. I'm certain that you could download at least 90 minutes of this woman's thoughts once a week or twice a week. I would imagine that is a thing that exists.
Oh, you're a podcast host. Have you ever flipped fries, burgers? Have you ever worked a drive-through? That's what I want to know. Because it sounds to me like Daddy has paid your way so far. You're a podcast host. Shut up.
Look you up, like just say it. Like it's so obvious sometimes. And honestly, like I looked you up, so it's fine. I would rather you look me up to know that I'm not a serial killer.
Oh, I can tell you're not.
I'm
going to
say she's a serial killer.
Anybody who says they're not usually is.
Usually that is deflection. I think we've all learned that from psychology, as she is projecting.
I watched quite a few interrogations of Jeffrey Dahmer, John Wayne Gacy. They all say they're not serial killers, like right away. So
Right. I think
Keep
that's
that
the
in mind.
qualification.
This one, 4, no food, only drinks, especially on a first date. Like what if we don't vibe and then we're stuck like having a meal? It's just not good. So let's just
All right, I'm
like
good with
go
that.
and
Who can't
I'm good.
get
That
through
saves me
chicken
money.
parmesan? No, who can't get through chicken parmesan? It's gonna be like 25 minutes. Look, if I'm gonna sit here, at least I'm gonna do is have some chicken cacciatore. Like
listen, if if she's ordering chicken parmesan, you're not getting laid. First off, because that's heavy. Like
It's
you want
heavy.
like Caesar salad, maybe like a fish. You want like a light
You
fish.
want a salmon,
If she
like a
orders
salmon?
anything like spaghetti, like with meatballs, you're like, oh, she's not trying. There's that ain't
gonna be a
happening.
nap.
She's gonna have acid reflux. She's gonna feel heavy.
You're assuming that she has the digestive tract of a 39. You're assuming.
You don't go with the heavy foods. If you're trying to like give it up later, you're not going with the heavy food. Is all I'm saying.
Look, I show up about 10 minutes late after I pop a Zantac.
have a couple drinks. It's definitely easy to linger, especially if you're having a good time, but max 2.5 hours. Also, my social battery's running out, or I'll get too drunk and then it just gets messy. So that's enough.
All right, I want to talk about this woman's social battery. Also, I would imagine that she gets drunk. I'm gonna put 2.5 hours her getting drunk. I'm gonna put that on the under. I'm gonna put that on the under. I think that's not over. I think we're at about 90 minutes, and she gets uncomfortably sloppy.
I agree with you. Totally agree.
I'm gonna say it, especially for the first date. If you're trying to court a woman, the guy has to pay. Like the guy pays. I'm gonna offer, obviously, but it's a test. So
Yeah,
On
guy
the date,
pay.
the
Guy
guy
should
needs-
pay. Back to the like, she's gonna be sloppy, and you're gonna be to a point probably where you're like, I'm calling this chicken Uber. There's no way I'm trying to drive her home. Oh God.
I think so. Let me pick this up. Next time, we're not going to go chicken cacciatore.
Listen, we probably should have had dinner because you cannot handle 2 shots of tequila and 1 beer.
The chicken parmesan would help with that, though. Can I just say
I
that?
think
You're right.
so.
You're right. Maybe
I think so. I think you got it. Yeah, I think if
I didn't
you're going to do
consider
a lot
that.
of drinks, yeah,
I
it's
didn't
going to
really
soak
go
up on all. I think
yeah.
you're right about that.
to tell me his
Bread.
birthday. Bonus points if you also know the birth time, because I need to go home and do research. If we are to kiss, this is interesting. I'm not a huge fan of kissing on a first date, but But if we're vibing, we're vibing. I'm here for like a goodbye kiss if the moment's there. But honestly, the most ideal situation is sitting down somewhere, whether we go back to someone's apartment, like all I would do is like casual makeout, kiss, whatever. But sitting down is just way less awkward to me than like a stand up. Like, I don't know. Like, I would prefer sitting down, even if it's on a bench, like wherever it is. You have to feel the vibe though.
She's got so many damn rules.
It's a lot
so
of
many
rules.
rules.
It's a lot of rules.
So she's not even gonna get to this point because you're gonna be like, she's gonna bring this stuff up as you're going, or you know, you can see the judgment on her eyes the whole time when you're just trying like nervously to like impress this girl that you think is cute, and then you're like, oh, they're dense. Like there's just nothing.
I'm on rule 8, and the mozzarella sticks just arrived. Like,
You made a right decision. You may have made the wrong decision about going on this date, but the mozzarella sticks were the
The mozzarella sticks are always going to pay off. At the end of the night, we might not be making out, but at least I had mozzarella sticks.
Yep.
She's gonna call in. She's gonna call in one of her friends at some point. So like you're gonna be like, you're gonna continue the night at the bar. Then one like, oh, Stacy, how did you know we were here? That's what's gonna happen with this
the
girl.
whole
And then
thing.
you're just like, oh God, all right, I'm just gonna.
There's basically nothing I hate more than having my hand held. If you saw the TikTok of Danielle and I, you know, I don't like to hold hands. Do not try to hold my hand. No. And the last one is I have an anxious attachment style, so you must text me to make sure that I got home safely after. Otherwise, I'm going to think that you hated me and it was a terrible time.
I don't know what to think about your anxious attachment style.
This girl is so neurotic. Like, if she makes it to the second date, there's got to be a point where you're like, I can't with this.
I can't with this.
Oh my God.
Stop.
She won't let me hold her hand. I've got to text her constantly so she feels validated. Oh,
It's just
What's wrong with holding hands? Isn't that kind of
she
the
does not
first-
allow it, Opie. That she explained to you that she does not care for that, and that is her thing. That is her rule.
thing.
She does not care for that.
what happened to just like letting stuff happen as it happens? Like just be in the moment.
Yes.
This girl wonders why she's going to be on The Bachelorette crying because it's just never in my life have I been able to find anyone that has cared for me or showed me they loved me until that I met this guy 3 weeks ago that is in Barbados with me
It's because
on a boat and he's giving me roses every night and I think I'm in love with him.
We're a fourth into this date. You're on the 12th rule. Can't get through this.
Yeah.
So also it's like the polite thing to do. Like you're sending a lady home on the streets, like to be like, hey, did you get home safe? Or like, hey, had a great time. Like you check in with me first. And I know that was a lot, but most importantly, we're just going to go and have fun. That's what I like to say. You know?
Right.
None of that sounded like fun.
Cheers.
Right. It sounds totally like an awful lot of fun.
No.
If that's something that's a thing that it sounds like fun. I like a lot. Look, here's the thing. I like a lot of rules up front. Why don't you give me 15 or so rules as we begin? Because I'm certain you won't add to that number.
I'm just hoping I could be like rule 16. That's going to be my goal after I figure out that she's got this giant list of things that she's looking for the entire time. I'm going to add to it by giving her something where she's like, oh my God, not that type either.
Hey, will you do me a favor? Text me a PDF of all these rules ahead of time.
Can I get a PowerPoint? Can we do
I
like
need a PowerPoint presentation of all the
Listen,
things that you
Canva has a
prefer.
great resource for this kind of thing. You can create, you can make it
Right.
look great. Can I get an
God damn.
emoji or some sort of meme that expresses these feelings that I can understand?
Trying to go out on a date with you, I got to download Adobe Flash.
There's no more annoying pop-up than the Adobe Flash.
Adobe Flash. I got to download a few apps to read what you sent. No, I don't want to download your Google Drive document.
You know
You
who
guys
wouldn't
are
be
right, though. I mean, going back and thinking about how I met my wife or other people that I dated before. Can you imagine being
Terrible.
in TikTok? And,
Let me say this. How my wife is so much different than that girl was when we started talking and dating. I was at a club when she met me without all her friends, and I said to her, "Hey, I've got to host a bikini contest at Hooters the next day. If you want to come, you should show up. Young Jock's going to be there." She showed up. She showed up.
Young Jock.
Young
Jock
Jock, it's going down fame, right?
It's going down.
It's going down for real. What, Mims was not available that night?
The point of the story is my wife showed up. There apparently wasn't these 15 rules that I got to follow. She showed up at Hooters, and well, it all worked out.
Yeah, three
That's a
kids
beautiful
later,
story.
right?
Right, 3 kids
Beautiful
later.
story. That's Young Jock right there. That's Young Jock.
When we tell our kids, when one day our kids were like, "How did you guys meet?" We're like, "At Hooters with Young Jock one time, bikini contest."
That should have been your wedding song. It's going down.
Listen, I know Chris Hansen tries to write some romantic stories on The Bachelor, but I don't know how you get much better than that.
Look, when Mom and Dad met each other,
Chris, wait, hold on. I said Chris Hansen.
look, this is Mom and Dad's wedding song. She looked at me from across the room, and we knew at that point that we were in love.
I think I love you.
I love you. That's what she looked at me. Our eyes locked from across the room.
When I was saying, "Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome contestant number 13 to the stage."
Yeah.
She's from Gastonia, and she's wearing a Fenty Rihanna bikini. Look, you can see her entire ass.
Who wants to see titties?
$5 Miller Lights if you head to the bar right now.
Right. I can see what she saw in you.
Right. In that moment, she was like, "This is the man of my dreams."
I can see that.
Right. She had a thought where she said, "This is the guy that I have thought of my entire life was going to be my husband."
Right. I loved him from the moment he looked at me and said, "Clap that ass."
It's going down.
Yeah.
Club. It's going down. Yeah. Young Jock
Young
brought
Jock
us
is
together.
romantic.
And now we both do Atlanta radio, me and Young Jock. Well, at least one of us. One of us do.
One of you do. Young Jock, not so much.
This is weird.
So Halloween coming up, one of my absolute favorite holidays. Appreciate you hanging out on This Is Weird podcast. Find us on the socials. We actually did a huge bit last week where you can see the like creepiest Halloween decorations. They're just like blood and gore, the things that brought the cops out.
Yeah.
You can see that on our YouTube channel. There's a big video about it. Instagram, Facebook too, at This Weird Pod. But with Halloween coming and it being one of my favorite holidays, do you remember it was like 3 years ago when clowns were terrorizing everybody? Like that was Opie. You remember? You were part of the story. You were doing the new. Ladies and gentlemen, let's
In other news,
be serious
tonight,
for a moment.
There's
In other
serious.
news.
There's a serious clown epidemic.
Clowns were hiding in the woods.
Clowns are hiding in
That's
the
what's
woods, and what it means to your children tonight at 10.
See, you had to do that story. I'm sure you could probably find the footage.
The tease was, is it Bozo or is it a killer?
Tonight at 9 on CBS. Well, sad to report that these days, with the pandemic, as many restaurants and businesses are finding out, it's hard to employ people because circuses were shut down during the pandemic in Europe, and there is now a massive worldwide clown shortage.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
They in Northern Ireland specifically, they say that they can't find enough people to join the circus and be clowns because clowns have found other jobs during the pandemic and have moved on from their life in the circus.
Okay.
And
All right.
so I feel like that's a sad news for this Halloween, but it also will make a great punchline challenge.
All right, punchline challenge. Generally, when Congress is in session, there is a clown shortage.
You know, I wish that they would go back to the circus because I got to tell you, the clown car Uber was obnoxious and uncomfortable. 1 star. 1 star. And I had to tip like 7 people.
There's a clown shortage, but Limp Bizkit is still touring.
When clowns go find other jobs, you know, one day you're fine, you feel like you're making it through life. The next day, you're laying on a couch in your therapist's office telling some sad clown about your problems.
Yes,
Got his
there's a
therapy
clown.
degree.
Yes, there's a clown shortage, but upside, there's a bunch of size 23 shoes when you need them.
Well, I like to look at things with the glass half full. And so with the clown shortage, that means there's a lot of job openings in the circus. Pretty big shoes to fill. However, there is a lot of jobs available.
We do have audio of the head of the clown union. Here's what he had to say. Now,
Well played.
thank you.
This whole pandemic has been tough for a lot of people, but I think the toughest for mimes. I mean, because how well could they really do in a job interview?
That's a great interpersonal skills suck.
Right. Yeah.
I've got one for you.
All right, go for it.
You know, after his space ride, William Shatner's available.
Oh, come on. This is not going to get us any closer to you meeting Shatner. We're bringing it full
You're not
circle.
getting unblocked.
That's a callback. That's a callback is what that is.
Hey, Shatner didn't make it this far in the podcast. He's good. He's fine.
He already
No
got
way.
one.
There's no way.
I got to be honest with you too. Reading the story, honestly, I lost my joke. Hold on. Where'd it
No,
go?
continue. This is going to be an intro.
I got to be honest with you too. I feel completely attacked by this article because you're telling me a bunch of clowns can go get other jobs, but nobody will hire me. Seriously?
Yeah.
I'm not a clown. Can get a job? I can't.
Clowns more qualified than radio people.
Jesus.
There's more stuff there. There's more stuff. That's the Punchline Challenge, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for stopping by. We failed to mention that on Friday night, the 29th of October, it's our This Is Weird streaming party. And Opie, you can come and join us on the if you'd like that
You
night
should.
on the streaming party. You should do that. And you can join us. We're going to live stream for the very first time. You're going to learn how much editing helps this podcast move forward. And you can join us. We'll be on our socials on Facebook, and we'll be on YouTube, and I think Twitter. And so you can join us on the 29th of October. That's a Friday night at 9 o'clock Eastern is when we're going to do that.
We appreciate you hanging out on the podcast every week, joining us, being a part of the Weird family. Thank you so much. Opie is a part of the Weird family. He was telling us how much he listens. I don't know if he was just saying that or not.
No, I enjoy it. You know I do.
All
right.
Listen, going back to the clowns, can you imagine the like HR reports at their new job? Like how that goes? You know,
I'll tell you what.
Patches
I
keep
was-
squirting customers with flowers. It's really inappropriate at a funeral. Patches.
When I heard about that clown shortage, I was very upset. And somebody offered me his handkerchief, but it just kept coming out of his jacket.
Just kept holding it. He couldn't get the entire thing.
He just kept coming.
Have a great night. We appreciate you hanging on.